the top
You
5 male singles competitors.
you went first for the tag team one. Do you want me to go first for this one, or do you want to go first for it again?
I can go first again and just
Okay, you could go first again because that's what Mr. Slows wants. He wants to save the best for last. I got it. It's cool.
So number 1 on my list is the current AEW World Heavyweight Champion Jon Moxley, because he has a really great reign so far. I believe it was past 170 from last time I saw on TV.
He won the belt at I believe it was Revolution.
So I believe we're getting past the 160, 170 mark as the AEW World Heavyweight Champion for Jon Moxley, and he's done a fantastic job as the champion. He's really showing each and every week that he can hang with big guys like Brian Cage, who he went up against at the Fight for the Fallen pay-per-view, and that was a good match. And it was one of those matches where Moxley was at his finest. He really knew where to break down Brian Cage, and he focused in on the surgically repaired arm and really just went to work on that arm, and that's what caused Taz to throw the towel. So that's why I have Moxley at number 1, because he's a hard hitting fighter. He has a never say die attitude. He never backs down from anything, and he's willing to go to unbelievable limits to prove his point and to really show why he's the best AEW World Heavyweight Champion we have in the industry right now. And number 2 on my list is Cody, the current TNT champion. He's doing a fantastic job so far. I think the record was 15, 16, and 1 as the champion. And he's been doing a great job showing how much he can perform, even against people he's never been in the ring with. And we've seen him go up against Ricky Starks so far, Warhorse, and a bunch of other big names in the professional wrestling industry. So I think Cody's doing a great job, and I definitely see him doing more open challenges down the road. But I believe pretty soon the open challenge is going to get overwhelming for him, and then he's probably going to drop the title. So I could see it lasting a little bit longer, maybe a couple more months, 2 to 3 months with this open challenge, and then I feel like he'll lose the title. Number 3 on my list is Dexter Lumis, who has done an amazing job as a singles competitor in NXT. We've seen him go against Roderick Strong. We've seen him go against Kyle O'Reilly and members of the Undisputed Era, and even Bronson Reed and other names in NXT that we've seen him compete against. And I love his character and how he just performs on a massive level. He really takes his time with his opponents, and you can clearly see that in the ring. He waits for the opportune moment to break his opponent's concentration, and then he goes right in. Then he goes in for the kill, and then really just starts breaking down his opponent in these matches. And Dexter Lumis has really done a great job of that, and really done very well as a performer. And I can see him doing some amazing stuff in this ladder match, which we talked about earlier. I think he is going to put on a spectacular performance. Number 4 on my list is the King of Darkness, Evil, the current IWGP Intercontinental Champion and IWGP Heavyweight Champion. He's done an amazing job filling the void as the leader of the Bullet Club right now. And I think that's taking Bullet Club to new heights. We are seeing more and more of what the Bullet Club can do with Yujiro Takahashi, Taiji Ishimori, Gato, and Jado, and a few other members in Bullet Club. We are seeing how much more the Bullet Club can go, and how far they are willing to go as a team, and how much they perform on a spectacular level. And they've done a great job. But the Bullet Club, this is why the Bullet Club is my favorite team in New Japan Pro Wrestling, because they just do such a great job. And Evil is definitely somebody I did not expect earlier in the year to turn things around as a singles competitor. Because at the beginning of the New Japan, after New Japan came out of the pandemic and everything, with running their shows and getting their shows back on track, at first it seemed like Evil was still going to be just part of Lij, and there wasn't going to be really much going on with him, and we weren't going to see much of him in his title defenses. But now I think New Japan is doing a better job of him, and Evil is working very well with New Japan to to really show a different side of himself that nobody's seen before, and we're seeing a lot of that from Evil, and how much he's grown and adapted in the ring so far. And number 5 on my list from Lij is Bushi. And Bushi, he still needs a bit more work as a competitor in Lij. And I think the best way to do that is to give Bushi a title opportunity down the road. Give him something that he can push himself towards and really show the New Japan Pro Wrestling universe that he is a very skilled performer and that can go up against people like Evil and really put on a hell of a match in a physical environment, because we haven't seen much of Bushi in physical matches, and I want to see more of Bushi in physical enduring matches, and I think it can be done. I definitely think it can be done down the road.
All right, Alex. So you did not have a single person on my list that was in your top 5, but your list is interesting. That's for sure. It's definitely interesting. It seems like you went more with the what have you done for me lately than the historical aspect of it, for sure. Your list is definitely a good one. I like it for sure. I like it a lot. But I'm going to go 5 through 1. For me, I'll start from the bottom and go to the top. All right. Number 5 for me, I have Adam Cole, baby. Adam Cole, for me, he is now become the blueprint, the standard of the NXT brand. He is this past year in 2019 was an unbelievable year for him. I mean, look, the guy, some Survivor Series weekend alone, that beat Daniel Bryan for the NXT Championship on SmackDown, then wrestled in War Games, then beat Pete Dunne at Survivor Series, then wrestled Seth Rollins on Monday Night Raw, and then wrestle AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson Wednesday on NXT. You know, so definitely that was the entire weekend was all about Adam Cole that weekend. So also I didn't even get to mention his accolades: 3-time World Champion in Ring of Honor, former television champion, Ring of Honor World Championship Tournament in 2013. He's won. Let me see, where did NXT stuff go? Why is his NXT stuff not on my list? Oh, here it is. Former NXT champion. He was the inaugural North American champion, and he was the NXT Tag Team Champion. So he's won all 3 championships. He's the second NXT Triple Crown champion in history. He won the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic in 2018. He won Feud of the Year with Johnny Gargano in 2019 from Pro Wrestling Illustrated. So Adam Cole for me is number 5. Number 4, the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. AJ Styles to me is a guy that has done it all in every company you've asked.
He's seen a lot. He's done a lot too.
Ring of Honor, he did it. TNA, he's done it. NWA, he's done it. WWE, he's done it. New Japan, he's
been
done
everywhere, man.
He's a champion twice in New Japan. He's a 3-time NWA heavyweight champion. He's a former TNA world champion 2 times. He was he won Match of the Year with John Cena at SummerSlam in 2016. He won Tag Team of the Year with Christopher Daniels in 2006. 2017, 2018 was the most popular wrestler of the year. He was the Pro Wrestling Insider's Wrestler of the Decade from 2011 to 2019. He's a former World Tag Team Champion in Ring of Honor with Amazing Red. And he's a 2-time WWE Champion. He's the current Intercontinental Champion. He's a 3-time U.S. Champion. He's done everything and then some in every company he's been. He was also a former WCW wrestler. You can't forget that. So he's done it all. I think he's a guy that still has top notch matches for sure. When you think about it, because that's why the Undertaker, if you look on his special, that is why the Undertaker wanted to wrestle him. So that's number 4. Number 3, I have Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega was the former number 1 guy. I think AEW's kind of brought him down a little bit, but that's okay. He'll get his time, I think, in AEW. He's a former IWGP Heavyweight Champion, former IWGP Intercontinental Champion. He's a Junior Heavyweight Champion with the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion twice, IWGP US Champion. So he's pretty much done every single thing in New Japan that you could think of. Also, really underrated, he won the Feud of the Year with Ring of Honor in 2018 against Cody. So they did that. He was Wrestler of the Year in 2017 on Sports Illustrated. AEW, he's the current tag team champion right now. He won Feud of the Year in 2017 from the Wrestling Observer against Kazuchika Okada. He won Most Outstanding Wrestler in 2018. He won Match of the Year back-to-back years from the Wrestling Observer, both against Kazuchika Okada. If you haven't seen this match at Dominion against Okada, the 2 out of 3 falls match, you're missing out. It was an unbelievable match. And then also, he is also a former tag team champion, of course, with Kota Ibushi. He's done everything like that. So Kenny Omega, for me, is so top-notch. He's one of the best in the world. Number 2, a guy that came on the scene huge the last few years, Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay is a guy that, when you look at it, he was ranked top 10 by Pro Wrestling Illustrated as the top 500 singles wrestlers in 2019. He's a former Ring of Honor World Television Champion. He is killing it in New Japan. He won the Best of the Super Juniors in 2016 and 19, former Never Openweight Champion, and he's won the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion 3 times. I expect big things for him when the travel ban is lifted. I expect him to go to the heavyweight division. I can't forget, he's also the British heavyweight champion. He beat Zack Sabre for that from Revolution Pro Wrestling. He's the current British heavyweight champion. So he's a guy that's getting better and better each time. He does things in the ring that are insane. He is still at a very, very young age of 27. So it's just for him scratching the surface, doing all of that. My number 1, because I know we're running close on time and we still got to do our finisher. Number 1 for me, it was an easy one. It ain't hard to see who it is. That is the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada. Kazuchika Okada, ranked number 1 of the top 500 superstars. He was number 1 in 2017. He won Match of the Year, as I said, in 2018 and 2017 with Kenny Omega. Feud of the Year in 2017. I'm going to go to his New Japan accolades. He's an IWGP Heavyweight Champion 5 times. He's won the G1 Climax twice in 2012 and 2014. He's won the New Japan Cup twice, 2013 and 2019. He had the best bout in 2017 versus Kenny Omega. Again, CBS Sports gave him Match of the Year with the Kenny Omega. And if you just look at everything he does, the leader of chaos after Shinsuke Nakamura left, he took over. He was a guy that, look, he is the blueprint and the standard of our professional wrestling yesterday. He could go 60-minute matches, no problem. Easy. How do you say? Easy squeezy lemon, easy peasy lemon squeeze. My wife is saying it right here, so she's saying me easy. She's telling me how to say it. I couldn't say it yesterday either. But if you look at all of his matches, they go to 45, 50 minutes. He was trained by Ultimo Dragon and Yuji Nagata. He's only 32 years old. So it's insane how young he is that he is able to do all this. I think he's the best professional wrestler on the planet today. He main events every big show for New Japan. So, we will see. But that's my list. My list is 5 Adam Cole, 4 AJ Styles, 3 Kenny Omega, 2 Will Ospreay, 1 Kazuchika Okada. And that is my top, Alex.
I like it. I love your list. I think it's great. I think there's a lot you mentioned in it, and there's a lot of accolades for these 1 through 5 competitors that you mentioned.